So I've gotten quite a few questions about the letter to the editor. I wanted to go over it one more time for you. So in case you have any questions, hopefully this can serve to answer some of them. You can find information about the letter to the editor on the course website at southbroward.net. If you go to Projects, Government Projects, Letter to the Editor, here you'll find sample letters. Feel free to read them, but take note that the way that these are published, they have titles. Your letter to the editor should not have a title, and it should also be written at the top with "to the editor," and it should be closed with something like "sincerely," and your name and your street address and telephone number, as well as your email. There's the specific instructions here. I encourage you to take a look at them. There's lots of little tips. I also go over how to email the letter. I want to take a second to explain that. So you're going to need to send your letter in an email to one of these addresses if you're writing to the Miami Herald or the Sun Sentinel. If you're writing to another newspaper, you'll need to find out from that newspaper, probably from their website, what the email address is. Once you do find that, you're going to also want to send it at the same time to that email address as well as to mine at lte@southbroward.net. Depending on the type of email account that you use, if let's say you have a Yahoo account, you'll want to load your Yahoo account, and on the right hand side you'll click Add BCC. You're going to send it in the to field to whoever it goes to, which is, let's say you wrote to the Herald, you read an article in the Miami Herald, it'll be heralded@miamiherald.com. And in the BCC field, which you'll click in order to add that field, you'll want to BCC this one, LTE@southbroward.net, LTE letter to editor. And I show you a variety of different types of email accounts. Please do not use your @southbroward.net email account. Please do not use your @southbroward.net email account. Please do send it from your own email address. Below this, you'll find the sample letter that I read to you in class about the Marlins Stadium. Note that I've have it with "to the editor." Again, there's no title for it. I do close with "sincerely," my name, my address, phone number, and email address. And by the way, this is a sample letter that is of an appropriate length. I say everything I need to say without repeating myself, and make my point very clear in this individual letter. This is another letter that I wrote that truthfully is way too long. This letter is a lot long. I'll be right back with you. All right, thanks. So this letter is a little on the long side. Feel free to read it if you're interested. I think you already know my policy on cell phones. This is a checklist, and it tells you all the points and all the areas that you can earn points. The first thing I already described to you, which was BCCing your letter. You want to make sure you do BCC it to me. That is so that I know that it got sent to the editor. You'll want to include a copy of the letter, so I need a physical paper version of your letter, as well as a copy of the article that you read that caused you to write. Remember, you can only write to newspapers, so stay off of the websites like CNN and MSNBC and Fox News and the like. Those, they don't accept letters to the editor because they're not normal newspapers. They are television programs. It does have to be from a Florida newspaper. It does have to include your full name and your address. Don't forget your city, state, and zip, as well as your phone number, so that they can call you if your letter is going to get published. It does need to be of an appropriate length. Again, this is an example of appropriate. This is an example of a little long. And I'll let you be the judge of what needs to be stated from your opinion. But of course, we'll be able to tell when we read it, right? Is it too long or is it too short? Because it'll either leave us with questions or leave us without questions as to what your opinion is. It does need to be written as a letter. Again, avoid the titles, and do make sure that you close your letter with like a "sincerely," your name, your address, and phone number. It does need to mention the article within the letter, as I do here in my sample letter. I say prospects in your article, prospects them for Marlins Stadium deal. The point of view should be clear, right? I should be able to clearly see what you want us to note about your opinion or about your ideas, the things you're adding to the debate. Remember that your letter can be for something, in support of it, or against something. It can also add new information to the debate, a new wrinkle that the author wasn't necessarily considering. it should be appropriate to the reader. Your letter should not strike the reader as something they need to do. Remember, the reader is the editor of the newspaper. They're simply reporting about what it is that you're concerned with. And the last and most most numerous part, we've got 20 points allocated for this section. The grammar, spelling, and punctuation. Please have someone review your letter. Spell check is a good precursor, but it won't help you if you use the wrong word in the wrong place. Down towards the very bottom, there's some letters that were published last school year. So if you want to look at not last school year, the year prior, if you want to look at any of those letters, you're more than welcome to do so. Please email me if you have any questions at all. I'd be glad to help you. Cohen@southbroward.net is my email. Thanks. Have a good day.